Why are you and your fellow Insulate Britonners causing disruption to everyday people who are trying to go to work and earn money after this pandemic and get their lives back on track?
Well, I agree with you. It's a really awful situation, isn't it? Especially after the pandemic.
Well, that doesn't answer the question. Why are you doing what you're doing?
Why do you think?
I want you to tell me.
Well, isn't it obvious, Jeremy?
So you're not going to answer
any
question?
The government have been dithering about for 30 years. Ordinary people like me. A few years ago, Jeremy, I was a builder on building sites with a tape measure and a pair of cutters, right? An electrician. And I've kind of woken up to what's going on. And it's basically what's going on is the government are not looking after us properly. So it's up to us to ordinary people to start standing up and saying to the government, you've got a responsibility.
Okay, let's just stop right there and help me out. That's why I've put you on. You're a sort of offshoot of Extinction Rebellion, right? You talk about the ordinary person, right? How do you believe, Liam Norton, that you are helping the ordinary person? That's my question. How are you helping the people you purport to support by destroying and disrupting their lives so they can't get to work and they can't do what they have to do? How?
Well, you must be not paying attention to what this crisis is going to do, because it's going to severely disrupt people.
You're not answering the question. But I'm not saying there isn't a crisis. I'm not saying that what you are saying is not valuable. I'm saying, why are you doing it the way you're doing it? That's what I'm asking you.
Because what we're going to see is serious disruption. But Jeremy, you said that this station's the home of common sense. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so how can you argue with this, what I'm about to say, because it's a no-brainer, okay?
Yep.
So what we're talking about is a plan to give the best value for money in terms of carbon reductions per pound spent. You're all about value for money on this show. Mm-hmm. We're talking about creating hundreds of thousands of proper jobs, meaningful jobs for ordinary people all over this country. And we're talking about stopping thousands of our elderly people from dying, freezing to death each winter because they can't afford to heat their homes and they have to choose between.
Okay. So let me take that there, and I will absolutely, because I've told you from day one yesterday, I'd be straight down the line with people and I'd be honest. If I don't know something, I'll say it. There is nothing in what you've just said that I disagree with. Wait, what I disagree with is in your desire to change things that are probably wrong and need changing. Can you justify the way you are going about it to the very people you say you're trying to help? Because let me tell you something, one thing about protest, one thing about trying to change government policy is you need to keep the general public on your side. And I would say to you, without being disrespectful, Liam, right, the general public on the M25 and further afield are hacked off already with Insulate Great Britain. They're hacked off with Extinction Rebellion. I'm not going to sit here and say that some of your arguments don't hold water. What I'm going to say to you is the way you're going about it ain't getting you many friends, my friend. And that's the important thing. You've got to answer that.
Yeah, life isn't fair, is it?
Is that your answer?
Well, life isn't fair. And what I'm saying is that we've got a reality here, right? So Sir David King, the former chief scientific advisor to the government, has said, what we do in the next 3 to 4 years will determine the future of humanity.
Yep.
Now, Jeremy, you're a sensible bloke, right? And when you listen to those words, what we do in the next 3 to 4 years. So they're not talking about 6 years because it will be too late. Yep. What they're talking about is the next 3 to 4 years. So obviously, you know, if this problem was 50 years away, then maybe your argument of sitting in the road would hold, but it's not. You're talking about completely transforming our economy and our society and to start that job in 3 to 4 years. What we're saying to the government is they need to get on with this job now to protect the economy.
Do you think that the way you're going about it is the correct way and a way that will enforce change?
Well, look, I don't know. I mean, we'll see, won't we? But what I'm saying is I've had texts, right, from a friend of mine who I haven't spoke to for quite a long time. He runs a business from Junction 8 in Reigate of the M25. And he's texted me today when I was on the TV earlier and he said, well done. Keep fighting the good fight. He runs an electrical business from Surrey. You know, a person that's gonna get disrupted, but more than anyone that by what we saw yesterday. And why is he saying that?
Because he's your friend?
No, it's because he's got kids.
Okay. And because I've got kids, and I'm not going to deny for 1 minute that I don't worry about the climate. I don't worry about the country. I don't worry about vaccines, as I've already said in the last hour and a half. I worry about lots of things. I have not got an answer from you, and I've got to move on in a minute. Not because I don't want to get you on, because I've got you on because I think it's very important. I want to ask you this. Whatever you believe in, how you go about it sets the standard. Do you believe the way you're going about this is doing your cause any good? Because I would respectfully suggest it is absolutely not. That's all I'm saying. Do you think it's helping?
Well, the government have got a choice to make. So as soon as a meaningful statement is made that they're going to get on with the job and do what is a no-brainer in terms of insulating Britain, we'll get off the roads immediately, Jeremy. That's what we're saying. But this isn't a cause. This is a reality. And that's why you've got people saying what we do in the next 3 to 4 years will determine the future of humanity. And it's a completely reckless way of going about it in terms of betting the farm and being reckless. And that isn't a conservative value.
Let me just finish. Let me just finish and ask you this. When you were working as an electrician with your van, this is what I'm going to ask, I'm being honest, right? And you had a job to do, and you got on the M25 and you were sat there for 2 hours because a bunch of protesters were saying stuff that might be right or wrong. What would you have said when your business was suffering, when you had a tax bill to pay, when the VAT was coming in, when your kids didn't have any food on the table? Give me none of your stuff, but give me an answer. What would you have said to the protester that moment in front of you, stopping you from going to work and not looking after your family? What would you have said?
I'd have been furious.
There you go. Thank you very much indeed for coming on.